Thank you all so much. Hello. It's great to see you all here. Thank you all for being with us. So I lead a team called the Developer Ecosystem Team. This is the team that runs the Autodesk Developer Network program. It's also the team that supports all of our APIs at Autodesk, also runs accelerators and boot camps. And we work very closely with our partners in marketing and the event teams to be able to put together events like today, the Platform Leadership Forum, as well as the Developer Conference, which next year will be on April 15th and 16th. Put that in your calendar, in Amsterdam again. Beautiful Amsterdam. I know anyone who's been there knows it was just an amazing venue. So when we talk about the Developer Network, we don't use that term lightly. We're very proud of the community that we have built. And we're also very protective of that community. We've invested almost 40 years in this community. It's helped make Autodesk what it is today. And I believe we've also helped make many of you get to where you are today as well. And that is the beauty of an ecosystem. It creates an environment that is mutually beneficial to all of its participants and creates a virtuous cycle of growth and success. There's some key ingredients that you always have to think about when you're looking at an ecosystem and the success of an ecosystem. It requires diversity and specialization. It requires collaboration and cooperation. And it requires to be both interdependent with each other. We have to all work together and rely on each other. And we also have to be individually resilient as well. In our case, the way we look at the ecosystem is there's a certain set of ingredients. Sid sort of touched on these in one way. I'll touch on them another way. To get a successful ecosystem, you need users. You also need Autodesk to provide you with technology and people and resources. You need the design and make data. And you also need applications and services. They all have to work together. There isn't one that can be sort of biased over the others. When one of these things goes out of balance, it destabilizes the ecosystem completely. On the other hand, when they work together seamlessly in concert, it creates a very healthy and stable ecosystem that can grow exponentially. More users bring in more data. Better solutions and support from Autodesk bring in better applications. And better applications from our developer community bring in more users. And that cycle continues, and the ecosystem continues to grow, building on itself. You all get that, of course, right? That's why you're here. We are at an inflection point, and I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times just over this past few hours, but it is true. AI, particularly agentic AI, have forced us to rethink the world that we're in. Both what we do, the opportunities that are available to us, as well as what we do with those opportunities. And of course, this isn't the first time that this has happened. This has happened over and over again in history. One of my favorite examples is an example that my friend Anthony Hauk, who's the Chief Product Officer at Hypar, told me a few years ago. And it's about the days when industrialization was just happening. And we heard about it today in the morning session or in the first keynote session. So in the good old days, factories used to be run by steam turbines. There'd be one massive steam turbine. There'd be a huge shaft that went across above the floor of the factory. And as shaft rotated, all of the equipment in the factory had to connect to that shaft with a belt. So all these big pieces of equipment ran on this belt system running through the shaft that's run by the turbine. Very dangerous spaces to be in, right? There's all sorts of moving equipment, belts everywhere, and so on. When electrification came around, people saw an opportunity to really make these factories more efficient. There was a great promise that electricity was going to solve many of these problems that were created by these steam turbines. So what did factory owners do? They ripped out all of those belt-driven equipment, and they replaced them with electrical machinery that they located in the same places that the belt-driven equipment was in. So, what do you think the productivity gains were when they did that? Any thoughts? Nobody? Yes, that is a very cynical answer that I get over here from Michael, but unfortunately, sad but true, there was zero productivity gain. Do you know why? The factory owners didn't exploit the new technology. They just took the old technology, ripped it out, and put the new technology in exactly the same place. Electric motors are smaller. They can be located at the worker's workbench. Workers don't have to move to the equipment. They can realign all of their production workflows based on this new technology. It wasn't until they exploited the strengths and avoided the weaknesses of the new technology that they were able to get those great productivity gains. There are other examples like this in one of my favorite books called The Innovator's Dilemma. If you ever get a chance to read it, it's a great book. So AI, MCP servers, RAG and CAG technology are really the electrification, the factory electrification of our times. And to unlock these new opportunities in agentic AI, we need to forget the old rules. We need to forget the limitations that we have today. And we need to really look at what is possible. And that is really my call to action for you. It's easy to oversimplify AI as better search capabilities, or to think about AI as a PhD that's sitting next to you all the time. That really is an oversimplification. The opportunity, though, is really being able to look at the compelling problems and challenges that we face today and asking ourselves, how can we use these new technologies? How are we able to exploit these new technologies? So challenges like massive amounts of data, structured and unstructured data, that need to be rationalized, they need to be analyzed, they need to be ingested and looked at so that you can derive from it both insight and wisdom. Complex workflows that require, again, a huge amount of data. They require people to develop tools quickly. They require us to be able to do something repeatedly, reliably, dependably. All of these are opportunities for us. They're problems we face, but they're also ways that we can use these new tools to be able to solve them. So LLMs paired with RAG techniques, with MCP servers, or with AI-assisted coding tools like Cursor, as well as a smart and capable human being, will allow us to do things that really were not possible October of 2022, right before ChatGPT came out, or even October 2024, right before MCPs were announced. This really is an exciting time. Quite honestly, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, what is possible for us today. So I just want you to remember, the pace of change is incredible. And we must dive in and learn the strengths and the limitations of these new capabilities. So how do we prepare for this opportunity? At its crux, we got to go back to the basics. We got to understand the problems of our customers and the workflows of our business, and be able to understand how this new technology will help us, how we can exploit this new technology. We need to be able to connect between these new outcomes and new possibilities that we have, and be able to connect those to the top-level business goals. That alignment is important to create a shared vision and to create that momentum that's really critical. Lastly, you need to be able to experiment, learn, and iterate very quickly. Embrace agentic AI in everything that you do, and be able to play around with it and really get an instinctive understanding of it. Once you find that there's an opportunity, you have to be able to scale very quickly because things are moving too fast to sit down and debate for too long. So move fast once you find an opportunity. So just to recap, where are we at? AI is reshaping our business. It's reshaping your business. Use APS as your superpower in the design and make industry. We're here to help you. Please lean on us. We will need to adapt with new business models to support these innovations. And that includes both Autodesk as well as your businesses. So keep that in mind. The things that may have been true literally less than a year ago may be changing, and you need to be prepared for that. Now, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of homework before you all take off. Some questions that will help you guide your conversations over the next few days. How do you see the ecosystem and your role in this ecosystem evolving with AI? For customers that are in this room, what new outcomes are possible for you today that were not possible 6 months ago or a year ago? What experiences and workflows are you able to address that you weren't able to address? Are you taking full advantage of this amazing ecosystem that's available to you? Are you exploiting the ecosystem? If not, think about how you can do that. For our development partners and our service providers that are part of this ecosystem, what tools, what data are you able to build using agentic AI that were not possible months ago? How can you prepare our shared customers to succeed in this fast-evolving world? And for everyone in this audience, how can we at Autodesk, and more specifically the APS team, help you and support you? What should we be doing that we're not doing already? Come find us and share that with us. Take advantage of tonight's dinner and the next 3 days of AU to talk to others, to learn, to share ideas, really take advantage of this community that comes together once a year. I want to thank all of the people who made this platform leadership event possible. That includes the folks that you may not see, but they have been working for months to make sure this is a perfect event. And also for all of the speakers who shared their time and their knowledge with us, I want to thank all of you. And of course, all of you who've participated at the event today. Thank you all so much. Let's take this opportunity to make the best of the knowledge that we've gotten throughout this event and for the next 3 days during Autodesk University. I hope also that I see all of you at the Developer Conference in Amsterdam on April 15th and 16th of next year. And with that, I want to thank you all.